Ukraine fails, if Ukraine falls because of Russian aggression, it creates huge security problem because it sets very dangerous precedent for other dictatorial regimes, and it creates temptation to invade Taiwan. That's why it is in our common interest to strengthen Ukraine, to improve security of Ukraine, and to strengthen security of Taiwan.
You have also joined IPAC, the Interparliamentary Alliance on China, and there was an annual meeting that was held in the US. IPAC has grown as an international force. What role do you think it has to play globally?
In my opinion, IPAC is a coalition of like-minded members of parliament, like-minded people who understand that now China, authoritarian regime in China, to be more correct, presents a danger, a threat to democracy, to global democracy, to human rights, to a rules-based order. And we need together to create a common policy towards China. It's extremely important. And we should have solidarity in face of the threats coming from authoritarian regimes all over the world. The more members of IPAC will be in national parliaments, the better for the creation of such common strategy, how to counter authoritarian regimes and their attempts to undermine global democracy and global security.
Moving back to Ukraine, can you tell us about the strategy now to reclaim Crimea? This seems to be a different strategy from the start of the war. Why has there been this change now?
I would like to remind that Russian invasion and Russian occupation of our territories in Ukraine had started from Crimea. And the strategy before was to make this burden for Russia unbearable by using sanctions, by using isolation of Russia as an aggressor state. But now, because of the new full-scale invasion of Russia against Ukraine, this strategy, it seems to me, has changed, because now we have intention to liberate completely the whole territory of Ukraine, including, of course, Crimea. We are using also military means to bring Crimea back, because it's part of our territory, integral part of our territory.
What do you say to the people who talk about coming up with a diplomatic solution, which will help to save lives, but may involve giving up some territory?
It's impossible. I would say to these people, just imagine that it is not Ukraine, but your own country is under attack. And you are offered compromise at the expense of your territory and your people, who will be just in slavery under Russian occupation, under foreign occupation. Of course, it's totally unacceptable to us. And the issue also in international law, we're trying to follow the rules and principles of international law, specifically such principles as territorial integrity and sovereign equality of states. So we are not only restoring our territorial integrity of Ukraine, but also by bringing back our territories, by deoccupying them, we are restoring international legal order and international security all over the world.
We have heard about the impacts of the invasion of Ukraine in terms of energy crisis, food prices, inflation. I wanted to ask you, what is the situation in Ukraine itself? Do you have enough energy? Do you have enough food?
At present moment, it's very difficult for us because we have to go through winter. And the truth is that Russia has already destroyed almost half of our GDP and our economy. Russia deliberately is targeting our infrastructure, civilian objects, including power stations, because Russia wants to destroy us not only militarily, but also economically. And of course, it is very hard. I can give you an example that monthly a deficit of our budget amounts to $5 billion US. You can imagine how difficult it is for us. But our government, our president, and our parliament, to which I belong, we're doing everything we can to go through this winter and to survive economically. I'm sure that we succeed in this, but again, with the help of our partners and our allies. And I hope Taiwan can also be helpful in our attempts to survive. And Taiwan has already started to provide us with the necessary aid, for example, to our capital, to Kyiv, where I live. And it's very important for us, and we really appreciate your help and your support.
It's been more than half a year into this long war. Your soldiers must be fatigued. What is it that is driving them on?
We are highly motivated to defend our motherland for a very simple reason. We are fighting for our families and for our homes. We know that we're in grave danger because Russia is committing genocide of Ukrainian nation. And we know what to expect from Russia in case if we fail. We have seen these examples in Bucha, in Irpin, now in Izum. So we don't want to live under occupation, and we don't want to be exterminated by Russia. That's why we have no other option but to continue our fighting. And we'll be fighting as long as it is necessary. We have no choice. And I'm sure that we will win. It's just a matter of time.
Do you have any tips, any lessons for Taiwan which could face the same fate as Ukraine?
My recommendation or my suggestion to Taiwan or to any country which lives under threat of external aggression is, first of all, to be prepared militarily, to have enough weapons to defend itself. This is the first point. Second, population of the country should be ready to fight, and should be highly motivated to fight for your motherland. And finally, we need broad international solidarity in support of the potential victim of foreign aggression. We need all kinds of support, supporting international organizations, support from particular countries, economic, political support, and also information support, which is also important because we are waging information war. And we need to win victories in not only on battlefields, but also in the sphere of information.